Hey first graders, today we are going to start a new chapter in math. So, do you remember these and these? Do you remember what these are called? You guys are right. This is called a rod, and in a rod there is 10 units. And remember, these are the units. So 10 units are in here. So I have an example to show you, and I want you guys to tell me how many rods are in the sample that I'm giving you, okay? So how many rods are here? You're right, there is 4. How many units are there all together? You're right. It's 40. Awesome. Now I'm going to give you another one. A second here. Erase this. Can't find my sock right now. How many units or how many rods do I have now? You're right, there's 6. How many units are there altogether? You're right, 60. Okay, last one. Okay, how many rods do I have here? You guys are right. It's 9. How many do I have altogether? How many units? You guys are so smart. It's 90 units. So, today we are going to use rods. And then, do you guys remember these from our math unit? From our last math unit, I guess I should say. They're dimes. We're going to use rods and dimes for our lesson today to figure out how to solve 2-digit number addition facts. Super cool, right? Okay, I know you guys are super excited, so let's get started. Okay, so I have 2 rods here, and 2 rods equals 2 tens, which is also the same as the number 20. Okay, so 2 rods is equal to 2 tens and 20 units, remember? Okay, how many rods do I have here? I have 4 rods, so 4 rods is equal to 4 tens, and how many units would I have? You're right. It is 40. So now if 2 tens are 20 and 4 tens are 40, how much are 6 tens? You guys are right. It's 60. So I'm going to show you that right here. Okay, so 2 tens plus 4 tens is equal to 6 tens, and is also equal to 60. Isn't that amazing? It is so amazing. So, what did you guys notice? I'm going to show you again. You guys are right. The numbers are the same. So there's a 2, and here's a 2. There's a 4, and there's a 4. And here's a 6, and here's a 6. They are basically the same numbers, right? Because 2 10s, as I said, equals 20, and 4 10s equals 40, and then 6 10s is 60. You guys are so smart. So, now I'm going to bring out the dimes here, okay? Remember how we counted dimes? So I'm going to get out. So here I have 2 dimes. How much is that in cents? 2 dimes. You're right. It is 20 cents. Now how many do I have here? I have 4 dimes. So how much does that equal? You're awesome. 40 cents. So now 20 plus 40 is what? You're right. 60 cents. Right here, I have altogether 6 dimes, which is the same as 60 cents. Isn't that super cool how I did that? It is so cool. Do you guys see how they all kind of relate to each other? So you can add up 2-digit numbers using any strategy. You can use rods, you can use money, whatever you want. It is super cool, isn't it? So I want you to look here. Did you notice that tens and money, cents, and then the regular, the normal way how to add, they all are the same. You can add them up in the same exact way. That is so cool. Same way. It's just awesome. So right now, I want you guys to get out a piece of paper. Okay, so pause this video right now and get out a piece of paper. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of problem solving right now. Okay. And the first thing that we do to problem solve is we read the question. So here's the question, okay? Alexis swims 10 laps on Monday and 10 laps on Monday and 40 laps on Tuesday. How many laps does Alexa swim in the 2 days? Okay, so our plan is to what? You guys are right, are to add 2 numbers together, the numbers 10 and 40. Pause this video right now, add those 2 numbers up and write your answer, because that's the next step in solving our problem. All right, so now that you've written your answer, let's check using our rods. Okay, so it is. We have 1 rod that's equal to 1 lap, and that is 1 tens, right? And then we have 4 rods that's equal to 4 tens, right? And that's 5 tens. So now if we looked, this is the one that you should have written down. 10 plus 40 equals 50. Did you guys get that answer right? Awesome! Great job. Okay, now I have one more example, and then you guys have one more example, and then we will move on. Okay? So, here's the problem. After swimming lessons, Alexa buys a snack. She spends 20 cents on Monday and 40 cents on Tuesday. How much money does Alexa spend on the snacks in the 2 days? So what are we doing? You're right, we are adding, okay? So pause the video, add up 20 and 40, all right? Okay, so Now that you have gotten your answer, let's check. We're going to check using dimes. So, 2 dimes is what? 20 cents, right? Because she spent 20 cents on Monday, and then she spent 40 cents on Tuesday. So there's 40. So 40 cents. Great. So what is 20 plus 40? So if we use our dimes, let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60 cents. Did you guys get that answer? I hope you did. So before I move on to the next lesson, do you guys remember when I was talking about like the tens place and the ones place, and we had to figure out what number was in the tens place and what number was in the ones place? So we're going to practice that for a little bit, okay, before we move on. So I'm going to show you a number here, and I want you to tell me what number is in the tens place, okay? Here's the number. What number is in the tens place? You're right. 20 or 2 is in the tens place, and that represents 20, right? Okay, so now I have another one here for you. Here's another one. Okay, what number is in the ones place? You're right. It's the 5. Great. You guys are remembering this. This is awesome. So, I'm going to show you how to solve a 2-digit number problem. But you have to remember what number is in the tens and what number is in the ones place. Okay? So here is my problem. All right? I have 13 black beans and 21 red beans. How many beans do I have in all? Okay, so I have on the board here some rods and units, okay, to help us solve this problem, okay? So here I have up here, I have 13. So when I write this, you see how I have tens and ones? What number in the number 13 should be put right here in the tens column? You're right, number 1. And what number should go in the ones column? You're right, the 3. So do you see that? Tens, whoops, I forgot an S up here. Tens and ones, okay? And right here I have 13, right? So now, remember, there was 13 black and then 21 red. So I have 21 in my rods and units right now. So in 21, what number should go in the tens place? You're right. It's the 2. And what number goes in the ones place? You're right. Number 1. Okay, so when we add up 2-digit numbers, we always start with the ones place and add up those numbers first, okay? So if we looked over here, I'm going to switch it here. So let's look at these. So if I added up all the rods, all the units, how many units do I have? The little cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if we looked over here, here's the 3, and there's the 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, now let's look at the rods. How many rods do I have? 1, 2, 3. Let's count this. 2 plus 1 is 3. So how many beans do we have in all? If I got rid of this right here, it is the number 34. You're right. So let's add these up to make sure that we have that. Okay? Have it right. All right. So we have 3 rods, so that's 3 tens, so that's 30 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 34? All right, 34 and 30. Isn't that super cool? So right now, I would like you to do the same thing, okay? Get out your piece of paper, and I would like you to write tens and ones, just how like right here. Tens and ones. And I would like you to add up these two numbers, okay? And remember, you have to remember which one goes in the tens place and which one goes in the ones place, okay? So, I would like you to add up 23 and 34, okay? So get that on your, pause this video right now and get that on your paper. 23 and 34. All right, so now for the number 23, what number goes in the tens place? You're right, the 2 goes here, and then the 3 goes in the ones place, and then 34, the 3 goes in the tens place, and the 4 goes in the ones place. So now let's add them, and I have my rods here, okay? So all right, so now let's add them. 4 plus 3 is what? You're right, it's 7, and that goes right down below. And then 3 plus 2 is what? You're right, 57. Let's count our rods to see if we are right. Our rods and our units. 57, okay. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Yay, we got it. I hope you guys got that. So now we're going to move on. You guys are going to do your worksheets. You're going to do 465 and 466, the front and back. And then you're also going to do page 467 and 468. Okay? So, for page 465 and 466, you do not need to do number 7. Unless you want to talk about that with your parents. If you want to talk about it with your parents, go for it. Otherwise, that's the only one. And what you're going to do is, I know you guys don't have rods at home, but try your best. I know you guys may have some dimes, so you probably want to get out some dimes to use to do these problems, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to read the problem, okay? And if it says 5 dimes and 3 plus 3 dimes equals what? It would be 8 dimes. And so you're going to write it in cents over on the other side, okay? So as you can see in number 1, it kind of gave it to you already. So it has 3 dimes plus 5 dimes equals 8 dimes. And then you're going to write it across. You're going to do 50 cents plus 30 cents equals 80 cents. So you're going to do that for number 2 as well. But instead of writing the cent sign, you just have to write it the regular way, how we were doing it before. Okay? But make sure when it says dimes, you're putting the cent sign in because you're actually counting money. All right? And then, let's see, try to do the critical thinking. It's kind of hard because it's in a chart. Okay, but I think you guys can do that because it says, every weekday, Adam hits tennis balls in the morning and the afternoon. Write the missing number in the table. So you have to figure out, using part, whole, what number is missing, okay? All right. And then on page 367 and 368, you're going to kind of do what we were doing before. You're going to write the numbers in the tens place and add them together, and then the ones place, or you're going to start with the ones place and add them together, and then do the tens place and then add them together, okay? And you also have rods on your picture or on your page, so that way you can add them up to see if you got the answer correct, okay? Make sure you add the ones and the tens first before you check your answer with the units and rods, all right? So on page 367, 368, you do not need to do question number 5, okay? And you can do the critical thinking. I know you guys are so smart, you can do this, okay? Good luck. Pause this video right now and come back on tomorrow to watch the next part of our lesson. Bye. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Today we're going to keep on doing 2-digit numbers, adding them up in math, all right? So I want you to get out a piece of paper right now and add up these 2 numbers, okay? Okay. You're going to add up 41, and look how I have it written down, okay? You're going to add up 41 and 13, okay? Add that up right now. Pause the video and add it up right now. All right, what did you get? Okay, let's see if we got the same thing. So we always add up the ones first. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and then 4 plus 1 is 5. So our answer is 54. Great job. I have another one that you guys are going to add up as well. Let me see what it is here. Oh, you guys will get this one. I know you guys. You guys are smart. Okay, here. So you're going to add up 30 and the number 23. Pause the video right now and add up those 2 numbers. All right, we always start with the ones place. So 3 plus 0 is, 3. All right, now 3 plus 2 is, you're right, 5. So our answer is 53. You guys are smart. Okay, so today we are going to do something a little different, okay? I am going to give you guys a problem, and you guys are going to answer it, okay? So, here is the problem. The blue team wins 13 ribbons at the fair. The red team wins 12 ribbons. How many ribbons do the teams win all together? So, how can we solve this problem? You're right, by adding up 13 and 12, okay? So, let's do that. Let's add up 13 and 12 right now. Okay, so here, 13 and 12. 3 plus 2 is, you're right, 5. 1 plus 1 is 2. We solved it, didn't we? So, now, here, I'm going to erase this because we don't need this anymore. I'm going to write it normal, how we normally do it, okay? So 13 and 12. So even though I don't have my little sign that says tens and ones, we can still add it up with starting with the ones. You always add it up with starting with the ones first. 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. See? Same answer, right? Okay, so now I'm going to do something really cool, all right? So, as I said, the blue team won 13 and the red team won 12. So, I'm going to write it like this. Okay? Same two numbers, 13 and 12, 13 and 12, okay? Let's add it up if we still get the same answer. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 1 plus 1 is 2. I got the same answer, right? Isn't that super cool? I changed where they are. See that? I changed where they were at, and I still got the same answer. Isn't that awesome? You can change the order of the addends and you still get the same number. It's just like how we were doing our little facts, like 4 plus 6 and 6 plus 4. You just switch the numbers around and you still get the same answer. Isn't that super, super cool? It is so awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to have you try it, okay? So get out your piece of paper, and I want you to add up, let's add up 11 and 13, okay? Put the 11 first and then the 13, okay? So pause the video right now and add up 11 and 13. All right, 11 and 13. Okay. 3 plus 1 is 4, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I want you to switch the addends right now. So 13 and 1. See, we switched where they were located. You add up 13 and 1 and see if you get the same answer. 24, right? So let's add it. 3 plus 1 is 4, and 1 plus 1 is 2. We got the same answer, didn't we? I hope you guys got the same answer at home. Okay, so much fun. Wasn't that so cool? All right, so now we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson. Oh, I guess I should ask this before I go on. Okay, so what do you notice about the sum when you change the order of the addends? You're right. The sum will stay the same. It's always the same. Even though you change the number, the sum number is always the same. Great job. All right, so now let's move on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, so for this part, you will need pennies and dimes, okay? So make sure you have a bunch of pennies and dimes on hand with you right now. So pause the video and get that out. So before we move on to our lesson, I want to show you guys something, okay? I have a little chart here. I have dimes and pennies, okay? And I have two separate amounts here. How much change do I have right here? Let's count it. 10, 20, 21. So I'm going to write, you see how we have two dimes? I'm going to write the 2 in the dimes section. And then I have 1 penny, and I'm going to put the penny in the ones section, okay? Now I'm going to move on to this one. How many dimes do I have here? I have 1. And then I have how many pennies? 3. Okay, so let's add this number up right here. How much is it? 10, 20, 21. Do I have that number right here if I took this line out? You're right, I have the number 21. Now how about on this one? What number is this? 10, 11, 12, 13. Do I have the number 13? You're right. What do you notice about the chart that I have? All right, it looks the same as the other one that we were doing yesterday. You guys are so smart. So now, let's add them up, okay? How many pennies? 3, 4. Let's add up the dimes. 2 plus 1 is 3. 34, so I should have 34 cents. Let's add them up together to make sure I have 34 cents because we've got to always check our answer. Okay, I got the dimes together and I got the pennies together. Let's add them up. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I have 34 here and 34 there. Yay, we got it. When I was adding, I added up the pennies first because it's just how we did with the ones. The pennies are 1 cent, so it's in the ones place, right? All right, now look at this. Dimes, okay? After I added the pennies, I added the dimes. And that's kind of like the tens place, right? When we added up the tens. Isn't that super cool? So now I'm going to give you one out to try. And I want you to write it exactly how I did on your piece of paper. Okay? I would like you to have 2 dimes and 2 pennies. And then two dimes and 3 pennies. So add them up. So pause this video, add those up exactly how I showed you, and then come back on and we'll do it together. All right, so now that you've done that, how many pennies do I have up here? I have 2, so I'm going to put 2 pennies in this section. And how many dimes? I have 2, so put 2 dimes in that section. Now how about over here? I have 3 pennies, so I'm going to put 3 pennies in that section. And then how many over here for dimes? 2. So now let's add it up. Remember, we always start with the pennies because we always start with the ones. Okay? 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we go on to the dimes because those are in the tens place. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 45 cents. Let's double check. Let's add these all up. So we want to put the pennies together and the dimes together. So let's count them. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. We got the same answer. Yay! So exciting! So now that we have done that, we are going to do another one, okay? And this time, I don't want you guys to use our chart, the dimes and pennies chart, okay? I just want you to add them up regular, okay? All right. How much change do I have here? 10, 20, 21. So I'm going to write 21 cents like that. Okay? Now over here. Oh, we're kind of all over the place. Better get them in line, right? Okay. Let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Ooh, 64 cents. Okay. Now, let's add this up. 4 plus 1, because those are the pennies and those are in the 1 section. That's 5. And now we're going on to the dimes part, which is in the tens place. 6 plus 2 is 8. 85 cents. Okay. Let's add them together here. Get them all in a line. Get them ready to go. Let's see if we have 85 cents. All right, let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. 85. Yay! We got it. Okay. So, you guys are going to do page 469 and 470. And then you're going to do 471 and 472. Okay? For page 469 and 470, you're going to do how we were doing before. You guys are going to find the sum and then change the order to kind of check your answer, right? Because remember how we swapped it? It's going to be so cool. And then you guys do not need to do number 10 because we already talked about that. Okay? And you guys can do the rest of them. All right? Now let's go on to page 471 and 472. You do not need to do number 7 because we explained that already. Or I did. I explained it already. And if you need to, you can use dimes and pennies to help you out. You're going to do the same thing as what we were doing. So it added up the pennies and then the dimes, and it was in the little chart, and then it's also not in the chart, okay? So that way you guys can check your answers, all right? Well, I hope you guys have fun with that. Pause this video right now and come on tomorrow to watch my next part of my lesson, okay? Bye, friends. Hey, everyone. Happy Thursday. So today, before we get started, I want you to get out your hundreds chart. Do you remember that you had a hundreds chart on your name tag on your desk? I want you to get that out right now. So pause the video and grab that. All right. So now that you have that, we can move on to our lesson. So, let's practice by counting by tens on your hundreds chart. I want you to start at 10 and count with me, okay? Get your finger ready and point to each number as we go. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Great job. So now I want you to start at 37 and count by tens from 37 on your chart. Okay? Ready? Here we go. Get your finger ready. 37, 47, 57, 67, 77, 87, 97. Great job. So, now that we have kind of practiced using our 100s chart, I'm going to show you guys 2 questions, okay? So here's my first equation, okay? 43 plus 2. Let's add this up. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 4 plus, there would be a 0 there, be 4. 45. Great job. So now let's add up this one, 43 and 20. Okay. 3 plus 0 is 3. and 4 plus 2 is 6. So 63 and then 45. Okay, what do you guys notice about these two equations? You're right. They have two of the same number, 43 and 43. And then there's a 2 in each one, but the 2 is in a different place. In this one, the 2 is in the ones place. And in this one, the 2 is in the tens place. And they have different sums, don't they? 45 and 63. Great job. So now I'm going to show you how to solve these two equations mentally. Okay? It's going to be so cool. And I don't have my 100s chart to show you, but I want you guys to look at your 100s chart as I'm mentally solving these problems. Okay? The one is 43 plus 2. Right now, get your finger on the 43 on your 100s chart. Okay? So, 43 plus 2. So, I'm just going to add 2, right? So, 43, 44, 45. Did you see how I got that? The answer was 45, right? I just mentally added 2 of them in my head. And if you did it on your 100s chart, all you did was add 2, right? When you were pointing, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to mentally solve 43 and 20, okay? So for that, this is how you would solve it mentally. Get your finger back on the 43 on your 100s chart, okay? So 43 plus 20, I'm going to add or count on by tens. So 43, 53, 63. Did you see that? Did you move your fingers down 2? Yeah. That's how you do it. That is how you add mentally. And you should use your 100s chart to check it for me. Isn't that super cool? So now I'm going to give you guys one, and you guys are going to use your 100s chart or solve it mentally and then check it with your 100s chart. Okay? So here is the number, okay? I'm going to show you. 42 plus 3. Mentally solve that number and then write it down and then check it with your 100s chart. Okay, so pause this video and do that right now. All right, so now that you've paused it, we're going to do that together. You're going to start at 42 on your 100s chart and then count on by 3. So count on to 3. So 42, 43, 44, 45. Your answer should be 5. So let's check it as well. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 0 is 4. All right, here's another one, okay? 42 plus 30. All right, add that mentally and check it with your 100s chart. So pause this video and do it right now. Okay, so now let's do that together. All right, so we're going to start at 42. Get your 100s chart out. Start at 42 and we're going to count by 10. 42, 52, 62, 72. Did you get 72 as well? Let's check it right here. Okay, 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 3, 72. We got it. We figured it out mentally. We didn't even have to write that. Isn't that super cool? So now I have a question for you. How is adding 3 ones different from adding 3 tens? Can you answer that for me? So adding 3 ones is the same thing as adding 3, and then adding 3 tens is the same thing as adding 30. Isn't that super cool? So awesome, right? So now we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson. And you guys know how to do this because you guys are so smart. We've done this already before. Okay? So do you remember this? What is this? You are right. It's a number line. Today we're going to use our number line to solve problems. Okay? So I'm going to flip it back over and we're going to look at the number line. So here it is again. So 30, what? So 30 is the same as what if we were thinking of tens? You're right. 3 tens is the same thing as 30. And what about 40? What is that in tens? You're right. 4 tens. Now, I'm going to point to the number 34. What number, or is 34 closer to 30 or 40? What do you think? You guys are right. 30 or 34 is actually closer to 30. How we know this is by counting the hops. Okay, so I'm going to hop backwards to 30 and let's count the hops. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hops to 30. What about, let's see how many hops it is to 40. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hops and 4 hops. So we know that 34 is closer to 30 because it has less hops. Isn't that super cool? It's awesome. It's so awesome. What we just did right there was finding the nearest 10. Okay, I'm going to show you the word nearest 10. See the word there? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to practice finding the nearest 10. Okay, so right now I want you to make a number line on a sheet of paper. I want you to make the numbers between 20 and 30 for me right now. So pause the video, get a number line going, and write 20 to 30 on there. And you have to put on all the numbers in, okay? Okay, so now that you have your number line like this, if it doesn't look like this, you need to get it to be that right now. And I'm going to choose a number, okay? And I want you to find the nearest 10, meaning which one is it closer to, either 20 or 30, okay? And you need to count the hops, just like how I did, okay? The number I'm going to pick is 27 right there. I'm going to circle it for you. So now you count to see which number or which is the nearest 10 to 27, either 20 or 30. Okay, so pause the video and find that out right now. All right, so now that you've done that, let's see which one it's closer to. I'm going to count back to 20. I'm going to see if it's closer to 20 first. So let's count the hops. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hops to 20. Now let's see if it's closer to 30. Let's count the hops. 1, 2, 3. 3 hops. What number is it closer to? What nearest 10 is it closer to? I hope you guys got 30 because I did too. Okay? That is so cool. It was super easy, wasn't it? So on page 373 and 374, you're going to do the activity and you're going to find how to mentally solve it by counting by ones or counting by tens, okay? And you do not need to do number 12 because we already talked about that, but you can do the rest of them. I know you can. And then on page 475 and 476, you're going to do just what we were doing before. You're going to find the nearest 10 and you make sure you count the hops to see. So on your paper there, it shows the number in blue and the numbers are in black. So you're going to count the hops backwards and then you're going to count the hops forwards to see which one it's closer to, okay? So good luck on those pages. If you need any help, contact me. You can call me or email me, send me messages down below, whatever you need to do. Or, you know what, your parents, they're super smart. They know what to do too, okay? So pause this video right now and come on tomorrow to see what we're going to do next. Bye. Hey everyone, so today we are going to use the strategies that we learned yesterday, you know, when we were finding out like the nearest 10. Well, we are going to use that strategy today to estimate a sum. Now, we're going to, estimating a sum means to find out how many in all. And remember, when we estimate, it's kind of like a guess. Well, with estimating a sum, you're going to try to find the closest guess, okay, with using this strategy today, okay? So, this is my equation here. So, 69 and 23, okay? So, I have two number lines up here. I have 20 to 30. And 60 to 70. Let's find out, since my number up here is 69 and here's 69 up here, let's find out what the nearest 10 is to 69. Let's do 60 first. Let's count the hops. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 hops to 60, and how many to 70? 1 hop. So, what's 60 closer to? What's the nearest 10? You're right, it's 70. I'm going to put 70 like this up here. Alright, so I know that 69 is closer to 70. So now, let's try 23. Here's 23 on my board. Let's count the hops. I'm going to start with 20. We're going to do the hops to 20. So let's count. 1, 2, 3. So 3 hops to 20. Let's try to 30 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hops. What nearest 10 is 23 closer to? You guys are right. It's 20 because it had 3 hops and this one has 7 hops. And you always want to figure out what the nearest 10 is with the fewer hops. So now I'm going to write 20 over here. So that way I know what it is. Okay, so now we're going to add 70 and 20 together. What is that? 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 2 is 9. So 90. 90 is our good estimate to solving 69 and 23. Isn't that super cool? That's the estimate, is 90. Okay, so now I want you to get out a number line right now, and I want you to write between 20 and 30. So pause the video right now, write 20 to 30 on a number line on a piece of paper. So now that you have the number line 20 to 30 on paper, it should look like this. We are going to try to estimate the sum for 23 and 28. Right now, find the good estimate sum for 23 and 28. Pause the video right now, get that number, and then come back on and I will show you how to solve the answer or how to solve the problem. Hopefully we both get the same answer. So I'm going to circle 23 first. Let's find the nearest 10, all right? Let's count the hops. Let's see if it's closer to 20. 1, 2, 3. This has 3 hops. Now let's see if it's closer to 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which one is 23 closer to? You guys are right, it's 20. So I'm going to make an arrow like this so that way I know that 23 is closer to 20. And now, let's do 28. Let's see if 28 is closer. Let's count. Count with me on your piece of paper. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hops to 20, and let's do it to this one, to 30. 1, 2. 2 hops. Which one is 30 closer to, or 28 closer to? You guys are right. It's 30. So now, let's add it. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 2 is 5, so 50. 50 is a good estimate sum for 23 and 28. You guys are right. I hope you guys got that answer. Right. So now we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson here. I'm going to show you some money, and I want you guys to tell me which ones are more than 25 cents. So here they are. I have 15, 30, 26, and 19. Which one is more than 25 cents? You guys are right. It is 30 cents and 26 cents. That is more than 25 cents. So today, we're going to do some problem solving, okay? And remember, to solve a problem, we have to read the problem, plan our action, write the answer, and then check it, okay? So here's my problem, all right? I'm going to read it to you, okay? Dan found 24 shells on the beach. Then he found 14 more. Jane found 15 shells on the beach. Then she found 30 more. Who found more shells? Okay, so for this, our plan is to add up Dan's shells, and then we're going to add up Jane's shells, and we're going to see who has more, okay? So I'm going to show you right now. So Dan found 24 shells first, and then he found 14, okay? So that's my plan, and I wrote it down, so now let's see how many Dan actually found. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. So Dan found 38 in all. And remember, Jane first found 15 and then she found 30. So now let's add up Jane's. 0 plus 5 is 5 and 3 plus 1 is 4. So she found 45 shells. So the question to my problem is who found more shells? So who did? You're right. It's Jane. Jane has more shells than Dan. And see, look, you guys remember these signs? That is the less than sign, and we have a greater than sign and an equal sign. So, Jane, I'm going to write Jane down because that's our answer. A lot of steps to solving that problem, wasn't there? First, we had to add up Dan's shells, and then we had to add up Jane's shells, just to figure out what to write for the answer. Isn't that cool? So, now we're going to go on to doing our worksheets for today. Okay, so you're going to do page 477 and 478, and you do not need to do number 10. Remember, we talked about estimating. You're going to try to estimate about what the answer is to them. And make sure when you do this, you draw number lines. So you may need an extra paper and draw the number lines to see which it is closer to. Okay, and you may have to draw 2 number lines instead of just 1. Remember how I showed you my example? I had to draw 2 number lines. You may have to do that, okay? And then, yep, I think that's it. You can do the rest of them on 477 and 478. You just don't need to do number 10, okay? And then, remember we just got done doing some problem solving? So on 479 and 480, you guys are going to read the problem. And then on page 479 and 480, it gives you the steps on how to solve it. So I didn't write down the steps for mine, but this tells you what to do next. So, for example, if you get out page 479, we'll read it together, okay? Okay, so it says Gina spends 18 cents on baseball cards. She also spends 41 cents on magazines. Roger spends 53 cents on baseball cards, and he also spends 15 cents on a poster. Who spends more money? So then it says on question number 1, reread the problem, and it says how much money does Gina spend, like in all. So Gina spends what? 18 cents and 41 cents. And then question number 2, it says for you to add up what Gina spends. And then you're going to write down what Roger spends. And then you're going to add it up on number 4. And then you're going to solve the problem. Who spends more money? Okay, and then you have to write that person's name. All right, super easy. I know you guys can do it because you guys are so smart. Okay, so now that I give you the instructions, I want you to pause the video and come on tomorrow to know what we're going to do next. Bye, friends. Hey, everyone. I am so glad you came back on because today we're going to learn something new. But before we go on, we're going to review how to use rods and units, okay? I'm going to show you guys some rods and units, and you guys tell me how many tens and how many ones and what number it represents, okay? Here. So how many tens are there? Or how many rods? So 2 tens, right? Because there's 2 rods. And how many units? You're right. It's 6 ones. So what number is that? It is the number 26. You guys are so smart. Okay, So now I want to give you another example, and you guys tell me how many there are, okay? Look, ooh, I gave you guys a tough one. How many 10s do I have? You're right, I still have 2 10s, but let's see how many 1s there are. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 1s. Yikes, that's a lot, isn't it? 14 1s, don't I? Well, when there is more than 9 1s, you actually have to regroup them. Okay, here's the word regroup. Okay. And regroup means to trade the 1s as 10s and 1s, okay? So, as I said, there was 14 1s. And remember, 10 1s equals 1 10, right? Because that is 1 rod. And remember, 1 rod has 10 1s in it. Super cool. So now we are going to try to regroup 14 1s here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take 10 1s out of here. Okay? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm going to take them out and trade them in because we're regrouping and bringing out a rod. So now, what's the number? I have actually 3 10s and how many 1s? 4 1s. Whoop. There. Isn't that super cool? That's how you regroup. Isn't that awesome? So now, I'm going to have you guys try to regroup some. And I know you guys don't have rods or units, but I'm going to give you one, and then you write down how many 10s and how many 1s you counted, and then we'll come back on, and then I'll regroup them, okay? So just pretend that you're taking a rod out and or taking 10 1s out and regrouping it to make a rod, okay? So here they are. How many 10s are there? You write that down. Okay, and I'm going to help you count the 1s so that way you know how many there are. Ready? With me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 1s. So we have 3 10s right now and 19 1s. What do we have to do? You're right. We have to take 10 1s or 10 units out to make it into a rod. So let's do that right now. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to trade it and make it into a rod. Okay, so now let's count. How many 10s do I have? All right, I have 4 10s. And how many 1s do I have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 1s. So what's the answer? 49. You guys are so awesome. So that's how you regroup, okay? So now we're going to move on to the next part of our lesson, all right? So now I want you guys to look at this part right here. How many rods do I have? I have 2, so that's 2 10s, and let's count the 1s, or the units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So altogether, right here, I have 27, right? And now how many do I have right here? I have 3 tens, right? And how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. So altogether, I have 36. So now I want to add all of these together. And remember, we just got done learning about regrouping. So what should the first thing we do if we want to add these together? You're right, we need to group these together and see how many there are in all. So let's count the ones. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there is 13 ones. We need to regroup. We need to take 10 ones out and make it a rod. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Trade it in for a rod. So now, if we added all these together, what would it be? How many tens do I have? Let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60. Then how many ones do I have? 3. So 63. Isn't that cool? We just regrouped 2 numbers. We regrouped 27 and 36, and we found out what they had in all. So now we're going to use numbers 27 and 36 in our little frame here. Do you guys remember these? See that? We are going to kind of do the same thing, okay? So first, when we do this, we always add up the ones, right? So 7 plus 6 is what? 13. But we can't write 13 down here. What we are going to do is we're going to just write the 3, and we're going to put the 1 over here because 13, that is in the tens place. The 1 is in the tens place. So let's add up these numbers. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see how I did that? Isn't that cool? So that's just like how we did with our rods and our units. And we did it using our addition frame, okay? We regrouped, didn't we? We regrouped the 13 units and made it into a rod. And that's what we did too in our addition frame. We added up the 7 and 3, and that was 13. And then we regrouped the 1 in the number 13 and put it into the tens place. Isn't that cool? So then we added everything up and we got the same number, 63 and 63. Isn't that super cool? It's awesome. It is so awesome. I'm going to do another one for you. We're going to do the rods, and then we're going to do it in our addition frame, okay? So right now, we're going to add these up to see how many we have, okay? How many rods? We have 3 rods so far. And then we have how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. So there's 34 right here. Now how many is down here? We have 2 rods. So that is 2 tens. And then let's count how many ones we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 28. So now we know that there's 34 up here and 28 down here. We're going to try to add these numbers together with our rods and units. So let's add up the ones first, or the units first. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12. So when we have over 9 ones, we have to regroup. So let's take out 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and trade it in for a rod. So now let's add up our rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all together, right here, 6 rods and 2 units. So it's 62. All right, now that we've done it with our rods, let's put 34 and 28 into our addition frame. So we put the 3 in the tens and the 4 in the ones, and then we put 2 in the tens and 8 in the ones. So let's add. 8 plus 4 is what? You're right. It's 12. But we put the 2 down here because the 2 is in the ones place and then the 1 is in the tens place. So we have to add it over here. So now let's add these up. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 more is 6. We got the same answer, 62 and 62. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool how we added that together? Super cool. So now we're going to move on to what we're going to do for our pages, for our homework. Okay, so you guys are going to do 2 worksheets, 483, 484, 485, and 486. On page 483 and 484, you do not need to do number 5, and you do not need to do 10, 11, and 12 because we haven't talked about that yet. And what you're doing for this page is you are regrouping the tens and the ones, okay? And it kind of helps you. It has a little picture of the rods and the units and how it's making it into a rod, okay? So the normal rods are in blue and then the regrouping rod is in red, okay? So make sure you add them up and see what it is. And then on page 485 and 486, it also shows that you're regrouping as well. We're like how we were doing before with the tens and the ones, and we are adding them up together. You're doing that exact same thing. And if you need to rewatch the video on how to do it, rewatch this video because that is kind of hard to do, okay? So, good luck. If you need any help, ask your parents, rewatch this video, contact me, and I will definitely help you. Let's see, I forgot to tell you. Oh, you do not need to do number 5, okay? And I think that is it. All right, so good luck. I will see you all in my next math lesson. Bye, friends.